Hey guys, Red Pen Mining here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day this video. Alright, I got a fun one for you all. I want to go through and just talk about all these little tiny Bitcoin solo miners that have been coming out over the past year. And there have been, I would say, more than 30 different types of models that are out there. And recently there's been some new Scrypt ones that have been coming out for, solo mining Dogecoin. But notably for Bitcoin mining, there are a lot of these devices that have been coming out. And I just wanted to give my experience amongst all the ones that I've tested thus far. I even have some that are not on this table that I want to go through, and as well I want to announce we're going to be giving away a Avalon Q, okay, a Can-Am Avalon Q, thanks to CryptoMinerBros.com. Here is how you participate. So just like the video and as well as comment down below what miner or Bitcoin miner or any type of miner that's out there, it doesn't have to be a Bitcoin miner, is your favorite when it comes to, maybe heating your house, or, you're trying your luck on hitting a Bitcoin block or any other SHA-256 fork like maybe Bitcoin Cash block or a Digibyte block. Just let me know down below, what is your favorite type of little mini miner that's been out in the wild now over the past year here. All right, so just let me know your guys' experience and thoughts down below. We're going to be choosing a winner for a brand new Avalon Q, which is going to be shipping out of the States. Okay, it's going to be USA stock. So I'll be choosing a winner from this video's comments on March 1st, 2026. So I think that's going to be about, 13 days from now as of recording. So get your comments in, and thank you to Crypto Miner Bros for giving away one of these Avalon Qs. If you're interested in an Avalon Q, they have the best price right now, and USA stocks. As of right now, the price is about $1,570 if you use coupon code REDPANDA for another $70, all in to your door. And again, that's with USA stock. So link down below if you're interested in an Avalon Q, one of the best miners for home mining. And I guess I kind of spoiled the video because the Avalon Q is definitely one of my personal favorites versus all of these types of other miners that are out there. But it totally depends on your budget, how much power you want to run, maybe as well as your environment. But you can set the lower power mode on the Avalon Q as well. Anyways, this is going to be a very long video. I actually even have other miners here that are not here that I also want to talk about in this video, like the Avalon Mini 3, the Elphapex DG Home 1, the Fluminer L2, which I think is one of my top picks right now as well. And I think I have BitX Gammas downstairs, but we're gonna be talking about more of the effective models that have, higher hash rate, better dollar per terahash, which I do wanna talk about in this video. I'll have an ASIC sheet linked down below so you guys can check it out as well. The efficiencies of all of these types of models, which one is the best. I kind of just wanna go through that in this video because I've experienced a lot. I mean, you guys can see all of the different models that I have here, NerdQaxe pluses, Hydro models, the new Scrypt, Hammer models as well, the new DC06, DC04, DC02 right there as well. And there's a lot of different models out there, and I just feel like there's just been so many of these that have come out, but there's also been plenty of them that have also faltered as well, which I want to talk about. That's more so on this side of the table. So let me start off actually with the Can-Am series miners, okay? Notably like the Nano 3s and then the Nano 3Ss, okay? I know these ones are actually very popular, and I really like these. These ones, in terms of the hash rate and also dollar per hash, these were really good at their time. But now that I've played with them for over the past year, I've also had a lot of them die. So I actually have two Nano 3s here that are completely dead. They don't work anymore. And whether or not that's because of just maybe the power supplies, which I did try a Nano 3S power supply on one of the older Nano 3s, it would power on, but then it says unsupported power adapter. So obviously that's not gonna work, not gonna mine. There were definitely a lot of issues with the first generation Avalon Nano 3s, but then we come to the Avalon Nano 3Ss. I actually have two of them. I haven't had any issues or any of them die. Okay, I did take out the plastic inserts. No, this one I didn't take out, but yeah, I normally have the plastic insert off to just increase airflow. But recently I've been using the Hashwatcher app in order to raise up the fan speed, because the Canon Avalon family app, you're unable to do that. So I think that's why a lot of these older ones have died, because these things were running up to like 88, 90 degrees Celsius inside here. So something definitely died in these, Nano 3s that I have here. Not Nano 3Ss, but Nano 3s. So shout out to Hashwatcher for the app. If you guys want to watch that video I did on the Nano 3s, just controlling the Nano 3s fan power, links down below. But not only failed Nano 3s, as well as the, Nano 3Ss, I've had the power supplies die as well. So I had to buy brand new Canon Avalon Nano 3S power supplies, which I got from Altair Tech. Thank goodness they had them. So all I did was simply replace the power supplies, and then these two started to work. And at the same time, I was testing the USB to Ethernet adapter, which got me a little bit lower latency, well, I guess down to 1 millisecond, to my own local Bitcoin Cash node that I am currently solo mining to right now, utilizing Umbrel and RetroMike's, one-click installation. Very easy. Go watch that video if you want. Link down below again, another video. So to be honest, with all the Canon Avalon Nano 3s and 3Ss, the issues I've had within a span of like 2 years definitely puts a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, because, I had to spend like 80 bucks buying new power supplies. I have Nano 3s that have died, about more than half of them, because I had about like 8 of them and like 4 of them have died. I gave away the rest of them, and I think a few of them also died as well. But then when it comes to the Nano 3S, I only have a sample size of 2, so I can't say whether or not these are bad or good, but otherwise I think the power supplies are definitely one of the biggest problems on the Nano 3Ss, especially USB-C. I think if you can cool down the power supply, you should be good, and as well as use the Hashwatcher app just to put the fan speed a little bit higher so that you can cool down the Nano 3S just a bit more. I think normally runs at 90, kind of bring it down to like 80, maybe 75 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it keeps it a little bit cooler. Now, let's go on to the next ASIC little miner here. I'm gonna talk to you guys about the NerdQaxes. All right, so I think I have a love-hate relationship with these, because I have 2 of them that are currently dead right now. Okay, so I have one here. The NerdQaxe, I think, might be a revision 3.1 or something like that. There are definitely different revision Octaxes. You can see my heat sinks here are different, this one's different, but these are both dead. These don't turn on, and I think it's because of the fuse here, which you can actually take out, which I found that I think I need to replace it. There is like a black spot in there. I'm gonna do another video, but anyways, so far, my experiences with Octaxes have not been very good thus far, and I have 4 of them, and so 2 of them thankfully are still working. Okay, I got one here getting almost 10 terahash. I have another one here that's showing 3.6. Oh no, is that 3.6 or 35 terahash? Okay, yeah, that's not right. Okay, something's glitching out. But anyways, yeah, these Octaxes so far, I've only had them for like a couple months, and I'm already having a lot of issues. So I don't know whether or not it's because of a manufacturing defect. I did my own power supply cable going into my own, Meanwell type of power supplies here. I have 2 running successfully on a 600 watt power supply here, as you guys can see, because normally using, the laptop bricks, they got really hot. Everyone knows this, and sometimes they just die, and so it's always good to go with the metal power supply with an active fan, cool it down a bit more. I have plenty of videos about that, but thus far, yeah, my experience with Octaxes hasn't been a fond one, so stay tuned. I'm waiting to get a bunch of car amp fuses that I'm going to try and replace here and see if I can bring these back to life. So yeah, that's just my current little state of the NerdQaxes. I know a lot of people love these, but I've also been hearing a lot of people have been having a lot of issues with these. So anyways, on to the next one. Let's talk about the new Jingle Miner BTC Hashcard. So this one does about 12.5 terahash, or actually mine does over 14 terahash, but at about 255 watts. So Actually, you know, this one has a pretty good dollar per terahash value, and I only have one. I haven't had any issues with it. The greatest thing I like about it thus far is it does come with its own 400 watt like a server style power supply, and it has an 8-pin PCIe that goes into the top of the BTC Hashcard there. So yeah, I truly like this one, and I did a review video of this already. I did have it orientated wrong, but otherwise it's been working just great thus far. Provides a lot of terahash. I'm solo mining Bitcoin Cash on this, trying my luck there. But yeah, I think I'm over 13.4, 13.5 terahash on this model, and it's working quite well thus far. And again, the price of it was about 560 bucks all in, and they have USA stock as well, so you don't have to worry about, you know, shipping, duties, and taxes on all that kind of stuff. So check out jinglemining.com if you're interested in this. Use code RPM for another 1% off. All right, moving along now. Okay, let's talk about the NerdQaxe pluses. I have to say, these are probably the most popular ones that are out in the wild right now, especially the new revision 6.1. I do have the older NerdQaxe++. This is the 4.8 terahash model, and I do have it overclocked just a little bit at like 5.3 terahash. And you know, these models, like these ones, or even the Nerd Octaxes, or any of the nerd style types of miners, a lot of people have done a lot of aftermarket modding on these. So whether or not people are, you know, cutting the or getting a new XT30 or XT60 plug for the power supply, a lot of people do that. A lot of people change out the heat sinks to get more active cooling so that they can overclock it. People put heat sinks on the MOSFETs, VRMs, and whatnot. So yeah, you know, these ones, the NerdQaxe++s, I'm gonna have to say are really popular, and I haven't had any issues with these actually. They've been working just fine. Majority of these that I got were from like plebsource.com. They're actually having a massive sale right now. Go check them out. Link down below. Use code RPM for 5% off if you're interested in the NerdQaxe++s. But yeah, I actually have like 4 more that I haven't opened yet, and I've been wanting to just start a wall of NerdQaxe++s. I think these are really good. These are really nice models. Again, personally, I haven't had many people reach out or say that they've had issues with them. I personally haven't had any issues with them, but when it comes to the Nerd Octaxes, I've had a lot of issues. So let me know down below if you guys have had that as well. But yeah, I know in terms of like trying to hit a Bitcoin block with one of these, I think last year actually, someone with 6 NerdQaxe++s, like in a server case or in a computer case, actually hit a Bitcoin block, which was really cool. I think that was sometime last year, but I think that only happened on one time. But anyways, thus far, my experience with the NerdQaxe++s, even trying to overclock them, it's been a pretty solid experience. And also with the another fan on the back of it also helps to cool the ASIC chips that are on the back of the NerdQaxe++. So I truly like this model. This model, I have to say, is pretty good for what it is, and as well as if you were to compare it like a BitX Gamma, you know, BitX Gamma does what, 1.5, there's a new model now, but there's a, you know, normally the 1.2 terahash model. This is like a 6 terahash model. And so if you think about the dollar per terahash, okay, this is kind of where, again, I have the sheet down below, Google Sheet, where I'm comparing a lot of the solo Bitcoin miners in terms of dollar per hash. Like the NerdQaxe++ is like in the middle ground, but the BitX Gamma is like the worst dollar per hash, because it's like, you know, an 80, you know, 70, $100, you know, BitX Gamma, if it depends where you buy it, and you're only getting 1.2 terahash. So the dollar per hash there is like $100 per terahash, which is really bad, right? And if you go to like a NerdQaxe++, you know, these are going for like what, 269, 300 something right now. It's going to be about like what, a $60 per terahash. So it's better in that regard. So I'd rather buy this if you want to have a more effective hash rate as well. You know, for solo mining Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, you're going to have a lot higher odds in a way, because you have more hash rate, and so your solo mining odds are going to be a lot better on, you know, this type of device. I also like the screen on this guy versus like a BitX Gamma. So anyways, that's my little experience thus far. I haven't really like tried to really go hard on overclocking these. A big thing is, if you don't have the power capacity, if you don't change out the power supply into like one of these types of like Meanwell style power supplies, and you still have the stock like 100 watt or 120 watt power brick for your NerdQaxe++, or for anything for that matter that you're running, if you're planning on overclocking, you have to be sure that you have the power capacity, and as well as you're cooling it down as well, because it will get severely hot and you're gonna have potentially a potential fire, burnage, or just power supply will just die. So I would highly recommend, if you are going to start overclocking any of these types of devices, okay, big disclaimer, even the Hydro model, you know, you got to make sure you have the power supply capacity before you overclock anything. All right, on to the next one, the NerdQaxe++ Hydro model. Again, I haven't had any issues with this model. It's been working just great. I truly think the NerdQaxe++ is probably one of the better ones in terms of just reliability from what I've experienced thus far. I have a lot of them. I haven't had many of them die, but yeah, this one seems to be working just fine. One thing I noticed is that since it's water cooled, right, the Hydro version, this does stay hot at all times. And so normally for crypto mining, I think Hydro is great, but this is in its own enclosed, you know, type of system, and there is no active fan on this one, on like the back of this. So it did get hot when we did the thermal gun on this, just to check how the thermals are. It was getting decently hot at the back, so I think it'd be good if there was more active cooling on this model. I definitely prefer the air-cooled model versus the Hydro model, just for that fact. Otherwise though, it looks pretty cool with the infinity screen and all that kind of stuff if you just wanted a nice desk piece or something like that. So I think this one still is pretty cool. Alrighty, let's talk about the bigger boy ones now, like the Canon Avalon Q. Alright, this is definitely one of the better models, I'd have to say, for myself, especially for me when it comes to heating my house. I actually have 5 of these around my house, and I have to say during the wintertime, this thing has been perfect for heating my house, because it does like what, 95 terahash at like 1700 watts. I do have 20 amp 120 volt outlets that I can be able to power this thing, no issue, but it also has standard mode at like 80 terahash at about what, 1400 watts, and then there is also a eco mode, which is like 54, 52 terahash at like 800 watts or so. So depending on how big the room is, I don't run majority of mine on super mode. I run them at like standard mode and eco mode, which is just enough to heat like a singular bedroom. When it comes to the, you know, decibel rating or how loud the Avalon Q is, it's like perfect for home mining. Like, it's not loud at all. It does have an amazing dust filter. You guys can see, actually, I've had this running for like, what, 6 months now. I definitely need to clean the dust filter. So this is pretty easy to remove. I'm not gonna do it now, but I just have to pull out this bottom part here, and then it will come out. I think that's yeah, you know what, let me try here. Okay, I can't pull it with one hand, but you just have to pull this, and then the filter comes out, and then you can clean it, and then you're gonna have to reset the filter in the Avalon family app. But yeah, just to talk about more experience with the Avalon Q, I have the power supplies at the bottom because the heat is actually rising from the hash boards, which are gonna be above here, and so the heat rises. And so when normally these Avalon Qs are actually supposed to sit, I guess how Canon has it, is upright, right? The Ethernet and the screen, they're all upside down now. There's no way for me to flip it. But yeah, it's upside down because I want the power supply cooler than the hash boards, right? The hash board heat, when it was upright like this the other way, the power supply at the top, there's a lot more heat that was pooling up here, and the power supply was getting hotter. So basically what was happening was the power supply was getting more resistance, getting hotter, using more voltage, using more power, and it's just better to have the power supply at the bottomware. So if you have an Avalon Q, flip it around and you can rectify that issue. But also with the Hashwatcher app, you can control the fan speed on the Avalon Q. I put mine up just a bit more, just to give it a bit more cooling, because I want this thing to last. And again, I have 5 of these myself, and I have to say, these are a lot more substantial, and in terms of dollar per terahash, the Avalon Q beats all of these little miners out of the water, okay, in terms of the effective hash rate and even efficiency as well. You know, on eco mode, you can get like almost down to 15 joules per terahash on eco mode on the Avalon Q. Of course, you know, it's maybe $1,000 more, you know, in terms of the initial cost, but you're getting a lot more hash rate on the Avalon Q versus maybe an Octaxe. You know, actually, I'm gonna have a video soon. I'm gonna compare 3 Octaxes to like a singular Avalon Q, because you can buy roughly, I think, 3 Octaxes versus 1 Avalon Q for the same price or something like that. So I thought I would do a video about that, but you know, because this can do 90 terahash, you know, and the Octaxe does like 10 or 12 depending which model you get. But yeah, the dollar per terahash on this is just obviously way better. Like, again, I have my efficiency sheet linked down below. You guys can go check it out. But yeah, the Avalon Q, I have to say, is definitely the best winter heater for someone that is heating their house and is pool mining or even solo mining Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or Digibyte or anything like that. Okay, honorable mention is the Avalon Mini 3, Can-Am Avalon Mini 3. I truly like this one here. I have 2 of these myself. Each of them are in bedrooms and they've been just perfect as a heater. Now, I'm running them on eco mode, which is I think 30 terahash at about 800 watts or so. And actually last year, I found a Bitcoin Cash block with one of these. I got real lucky in solo mining Bitcoin Cash, and within like 6 days, I found a Bitcoin Cash block. So I got lucky in that regard with one of these Avalon Mini 3s here, which again, has been a great heater. And I think the utility of this miner, especially during winter time, you know, I don't have to use these baseboard heaters anymore, right? I just have to use this, which at the same time, while it's, you know, I'm spending money on electricity versus a baseboard heater, an Avalon Mini 3 can mine a little bit of Bitcoin at the same time, or solo mine. So why not, right? I think the Avalon Mini prices have definitely come down in price. So if you guys are interested, I'll have links down below to the Avalon Mini 3. Okay, just recently I've been getting in the Scrypt miners, the Hammer Miner DC06 here, and also I have a Hammer Miner DC04 and a DC02. So these models here, they're mainly advertised for solo mining, especially like Dogecoin, right? You can maybe hit a $1,200 Dogecoin block or a 10,000 Dogecoin block, you know. These things are meant to do that. Now, the hash rate that these can achieve are definitely something that is substantial versus maybe, I don't know, you know, Lucky Miner LG07s. I know there's been other, you know, smaller Dogecoin miners, the Gold Shell Bytes. You know, these have a bit more hash rate and also efficiency as well, because these are running, I think, Volk miner chips or L9 chips, whatever. Anyway, the same efficiency roughly. So these are definitely a new iteration, as well as the Ethernet that is built in here. It has Wi-Fi as well, but I think this one's a pretty interesting contender. But there's another Scrypt miner that recently I've been eyeing, and it's been working just great as a heater. But here is the Fluminer L2, okay? This guy here, which is also a speaker, okay? Not only does it provide heat, not only does it mine Scrypt, but it also plays music as well. It's a Bluetooth speaker built in. So 3 different things you get out of this thing. And right now I'm actually solo mining with the Fluminer L2 on, I think, lightsolo.org. It's a Litecoin and Dogecoin solo mining pool that I'm trying this out right now with this Fluminer L2. So the biggest thing regarding this is the price. The price of this Fluminer L2 is really competitive against anything out there in terms of just, you know, a small little Scrypt miner, but it also does about, what, 1.2 terahash. So this is definitely a lot more effective in terms of, you know, higher odds in terms of trying to solo mine if you're solo mining with this. I mean, obviously you can pool mine with the Fluminer L2, you know, get a little bit of Dogecoin and Litecoin, but it also acts as a speaker, and also you get heat as well. Wi-Fi works just fine. There's also Ethernet capability if you want lower latency if you're going to be solo mining. So this thing honestly checks all the boxes. I honestly think the Fluminer L2 is one of the strongest, if not the best, Scrypt miner right now for solo mining because of the price. The price of this thing, which, you know, a lot of people care about, is one of the biggest determining factors when someone is buying, you know, a crypto miner such as this. But at the same time, it provides so much utility. So I truly think the Fluminer L2 is really a great miner here for anyone that wants to solo mine or just get a bit of heat or just pool mine, you know, just gradually get some Dogecoin as you go along. So yeah, the Fluminer L2, I have to say, definitely one of the best at this point in time. Okay, we got another Scrypt miner. I'm in my kitchen right now. This Elphapex DG Home 1, I've had for more than a year now, and it's actually getting pretty dusty. I haven't dusted or cleaned it at all. A great thing about this unit is the power supply is in the bottom front here, and airflow goes through out the back. And this actually is a water-cooled one, all right? There is an AIO in there as well. I've actually been hearing some people have been having issues with their AIOs. I think the best thing that I've heard is that if you have it on its side or if you have it flipped the other way, the AIO is gonna have issues. So I've seen people have it flat, you know, the other way around. You're actually supposed to have it upright just like this, okay? So where the power supply is and everything, Ethernet, just like this, okay? Wi-Fi is in the front. You gotta have it upright in order for it to perform perfectly. So actually, I was just looking at the price of the Elphapex DG Home Run right now, and it's about $5.99 on CryptoMinerBros.com. So just doing the math, because this is like a 2 gigahash or 2.1 gigahash model, so for mining Scrypt. So this is actually a lot more effective in terms of if you were to solo mine. Of course, this thing takes like what, 630, 650 watts at the wall. So the power consumption is a bit more than the Fluminer L2, but you are getting a lot more hash rate versus, you know, the dollar per hash, you know, how much this thing costs versus how much hash rate you're getting. So I think as of right now, the DG Home 1 has the best dollar per hash right now if you were to think about getting into Scrypt mining, solo mining, and whatnot. I'm actually pool mining with this right now, but I'm actually thinking I should try solo mining with the Elphapex DG Home 1 here. And it's been running just flawless for the past, I don't know, year or so since I've had this unit, and it's been working just great as well as a heater for my kitchen here, okay? Only 630, 650 watts that I'm attaining on this, so it's not that much heat, but in a smaller room, this thing works just perfect as a heater. Plus, it's not loud at all, and man, it's actually really dusty here over the past year that I've been running this thing. There are, I think, newer models that are coming out for the Elphapex DG Home 1 or Elphapex DG Home 2. There is new models, but those are probably going to be a lot more substantial in price. I know that there's like the Volk Miner Mini. I don't have one here to showcase to you guys. I already sold that one, but I think as of right now, the Elphapex DG Home 1 you can get for 600 bucks at CryptoMinerBros.com. Use code RedPanda for 70 bucks off. All right, so I think the Elphapex DG Home 1 is a solid unit, especially for those that are mining Scrypt. Okay, guys, I think that sums up about all of the different miners I've had here, all the experience that I've had, kind of like a, I don't know, top 10 crypto miners for home mining, basically, and the ones I just wanted to give you my experience, my best experience out of all these, and which I think is the best. And honestly, I think the Avalon Q wins that regard. I think the Elphapex DG Home 1, as of now, probably is going to win that too as well, because the price of that has come down quite a lot. So I think those two are really good. Fluminer L2 is really good, but anything smaller, you know, like these guys, the NerdQaxe++s are also very good as well. I forgot the fact of open source and whatnot, if you care about that, overclockability, firmware updatability and stuff. So I think overall, yeah, really, you know, choose your poison. You know, which miner is going to be the one that you guys like the most. But again, we're giving away a whole Avalon Q. Thank you to CryptoMinerBros.com. Again, if you guys are interested in one of these or any miner on their website, go use code RedPanda for $70 off. Links are down in the video description below. Again, comment down below what miner do you guys like at home? Which one have you guys had the best experience at home? And I will choose the winner on March 1st. Okay, for the winner for the Avalon Q. We'll do that during a live stream, okay? So stay tuned for that. All right, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Peace out. Peace out. Seriously, I have way too many miners here. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about the 702 here, 701.